Are these investing myths holding you back from building wealth? I'm Britt, money coach and co-founder of Dow Janes, and in this video, I'm debunking some common myths that may be costing you the chance to make some major money through investing. If you want to learn more about how to save, invest, and make the most of your money, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you want to learn about investing the right way, be sure to check out our free masterclass on making money as a first-time investor. The link is in the description. Okay, let's get into the myths. Investing myth number one is that you need to pay off all your debt before you start investing. Now, this we hear all the time, and people think that all your debt means you need to pay off your student loans or you need to pay off your mortgage before you start investing. But the thing is, there are different types of debt. We refer to it as sprint debt and marathon debt. And sprint debt is high interest rate debt. That's anything with an interest rate over 7%. That's things like credit cards, that's things like potentially personal loans, maybe car loans. If you have an interest rate above 7%, it's sprint debt because you want to pay it off as fast as possible. And that's the debt that you have to pay off before you start investing. Marathon debt, on the other hand, that's things like a mortgage or your student loans. Any debt with an interest rate below 7%, ideally closer to like 2 or 3%. That type of debt you can hold on to for the long term and actually invest simultaneously while you have a mortgage or student loans. And let me explain why that is the case. So average returns in the stock market historically have been around 7 to 8%. So given that number, if you are trying to invest while you have credit card debt, you're never gonna win. You're gonna be paying way more in the interest on your credit card debt than you will even make in the stock market. So it's a better use of your money to use any money that you would have invested and put it towards that high interest rate debt instead. So yes, it's a myth that you have to pay off all of your debt, but you do have to pay off your high interest rate debt before you start investing. And just to give you the counterpoint, if you have a mortgage or a student loan with, say, a 3 or a 4% interest rate, you're actually better using extra money and investing it at that 7 or 8% return, because that's higher than the 3 or 4% interest that you're paying on your home. If you need help paying off high interest rate debt on this side of things, check out our free masterclass, Say Goodbye to Credit Card Debt Forever. In it, we teach you the principles you need to pay off debt fast so that you can start building wealth sooner. I'll put a link in the description below. All right, investing myth number 2 is that investing is risky. And of course, there is a certain amount of risk involved in investing, but it isn't a game of blind chance or dumb luck. This isn't like playing roulette. There are strategies that you can use to protect yourself from the fluctuation and dips in the stock market. If you want to minimize your investment risk, then first of all, don't invest in single stocks. Instead, choose to invest in index funds, mutual funds, or ETFs, which are all bundles of different stocks. So even if some of the companies don't do as well as expected, you don't end up losing a lot of money because the other companies will help balance it out. Also, another way to minimize risk is to make sure you aren't invested only in stocks. Having different types of investments, we call them assets, such as real estate or bonds or commodities, will help you minimize your risk. So one of the things we talk about is target date funds. Target date funds automatically adjust your investment portfolio as you get older. So you make more aggressive, higher risk investments when you're younger and more stable, lower risk investments as you get older. This is a great way to minimize your risk, ensure you are diversified, and ensure the asset allocation of the portfolio is appropriate based on your time horizon. Okay, investing myth number 3 is that investing is a way to get rich fast. If you're looking to get rich quick, play the lottery, but don't actually, it's a total waste of money. The truth is there aren't a lot of ways to get rich quickly. Even the richest people get rich slowly by starting successful businesses, working really hard, or getting lucky. So go ahead, try those things if you want to get rich quick. In the meantime, if you want a solid strategic plan to multiply your money over the course of your life, then invest. Investing is a long-term way to build wealth. It requires discipline, patience, and mostly holding the course, and it rarely happens overnight. But as long as you do it strategically, it is a nearly guaranteed successful way to multiply your money over time. Okay, investing myth number 4, and this is a big one, is that you should try to time the market. So caveat, it is possible to time the market, but the people who are doing that are day traders, portfolio managers, and full-time investors, and they do it literally night and day all the time. And even so, even when they are trying to time the market, very few investors have been able to predict market shifts with such consistency that they gain any significant advantage over the buy and hold investing strategy. Average investor, do not try to time the market. It's the biggest mistake you can make when it comes to investing. The thing that happens is that usually, because we're animals and our brains talk us into anticipating fear, we are always in fear of a stock market crash. And when you are in fear of a stock market crash, you don't invest or you wait to invest. And that's actually the worst thing you can do. So ideally, you just want to invest consistently over time, not trying to time when you enter or exit the market, but just consistently over time. It's actually the best strategy. And just in case you need some added evidence of why trying to time the market doesn't work, Bank of America did a study evaluating the stock market all the way back to 1930. And they discovered that if an investor missed the S&P 500's 10 best days each decade, the total return would stand at 28%. Now, that might sound really high, but get this. If, on the other hand, the investor held steady through the ups and downs and did not try to time the market, the return would have been almost 18,000%. So that is the difference. When we let our brains come in and try to control our returns, it actually turns out way worse for us than just holding the course. If you think about it, that's kind of how everything in life works. It's better to just get started than to wait for the perfect moment. So instead of trying to time the market, just make a plan to invest as soon as possible and do it consistently. All right, investing myth number 5 is that a diversified portfolio means buying a lot of different stocks. If you've done any research into investing, you've probably heard about the importance of a diversified portfolio. But what exactly does that mean? It's easy to assume that a diversified portfolio means just investing in a lot of different stocks. But actually, a truly diversified portfolio is a little more complex. The first thing to keep in mind is asset allocation. I've said this before in other videos, but if you're new here, assets are things that you invest in. So types of assets are stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, alternatives. Those are different types of assets. And your asset allocation, meaning what percentage of your portfolio is in stocks versus bonds, is a really important piece of determining your diversification. The reason for that is stocks are more risky than bonds. And so you want to balance the amount of stocks and the amount of bonds that you have in your portfolio based on your time horizon. The other element of diversification that people often miss over is that you want to diversify the sectors or industries that you invest in. So for example, instead of investing in just technology, like buying 3 different tech stocks that you're excited about, you'd actually want to look at other industries like retail or pharmaceuticals. And given all of those factors and the fact that you probably aren't an expert in certain assets or certain sectors, one easy way to get to diversification is through index funds. So rather than trying to create your own diversification, you can just get it bundled for you in an index fund. An index fund invests in stocks that fit into a specific category of the market. For example, if you invest in the ETF SPY, which tracks the S&P 500 index, you'll be invested in the 500 largest companies in the US. By choosing a small handful of different index funds, like a US stock market index fund, an international stock market index fund, and a bond index fund, you can create total diversification in your portfolio by only investing in 3 different funds. That's a much better way of doing it than trying to pick a handful of different stocks to get diversification. The alternative is to just invest in one fund, a target date fund. Target date funds allocate your money across stocks and bonds based on your age and automatically adjust the asset allocation over time as you get older. Investing myth number 6 is that investing is for the rich. We tend to think of investing as something that rich people do, and they do. But people don't invest because they're rich, they become rich by investing. Most millionaires have multiple streams of income. Plus, with micro-investing apps and online brokerages, investing is more accessible than ever. As long as you don't have high interest rate debt and you've saved up your emergency fund, you can get started investing with as little as $100. And the sooner you get started, the more time you have for your money to compound over time, meaning you'll become rich by investing. If you don't have an emergency fund or you're not sure how to start investing, we have videos on both of those things. I'll leave links in the descriptions. All right, to wrap up, investing is one of the best ways to build wealth, but only only if you do it the right way. If you want to learn more about how to invest like a millionaire, be sure to check out our free class, Think Like an Investor, where we'll teach you everything you need to know to start making money by investing with confidence. Check it out, and if you have any questions about investing, leave it in the comments. See you in the next video.